Hi, Robin of Oxy-Dry, and here I am cleaning in a condo, and I'm about to do these stairs, and I just cleaned the hallways here, and I just finished the hallways, and I came up with the Oreck and getting set up here. When I came out of the elevator around the corner here, there was a fresh dribble of something right here. Not a stain that was reappearing, it was actually a fresh dribble, I could see it. So I just used the Oreck on there. Yeah. Anyway, let's clean the carpet. Steps here with the Oreck. I just sprayed these. Make sure there we go, fully engaged. So I did a video a few back where I had replaced or fixed the rattle that is chronic with these machines. Not that it's a big deal because it's easy to fix. I showed a few videos back there where it's easy to fix with some goop. There's a nylon bushing where the handle pivots, and it's not a good design, I guess, because it comes out of place after a while from the vibration, and then the handle is actually vibrating. But anyway, I show a video. I've shown it before, but basically this last one was a little more in depth, I guess, and it's easy to fix. Just put a little bit of goop on the bushing and slide it back into where it fits, and easy to fix, and then it's like new again. And then I discovered that the bolts holding the motor were actually backing off, which had never happened on an Oreck before. I actually have, this is my third one actually, I guess, although I've never actually, I have all three of them and they all work. I just, when they get, the only reason I really replace it is because they get kind of ratty looking after a while. But I've never had to replace a motor, or even the actual. There's a relay switch inside that can go the contact point. The first one I have, it actually did stop working because of that. But I took it to a vacuum store and they actually opened up the switch, and there's a contact point in there. They just filed it, put it back together, and it was working. But then I went and bought another one anyway. And then my second one, where the wire comes out of the motor there on the back side from flexing so much, the wire eventually broke inside. So I just replaced the wire coming up in the handle, I guess. Not a big deal. And then I replaced the machine. And these are a great machine, they really are. I mean, they're just simple, inexpensive, easy to use, and ideal for this type of situation, doing steps and whatever, because you don't have to bend over and get down there. I have the steps on a couple of them actually, and they're a good machine, but in order to use them, you're down on your hands and knees, and I'm not into that anymore. As you age, you find ways to make things easier. Okay, so we'll spray this. If the riser needs to be done, and it doesn't always, certainly not on a commercial job either, but if it does, I do have the doodle bug, and I can do it with that. So it's not difficult to do. nor does it take much time. Yeah, plenty wet. It's a good idea, actually, when you go to turn the arc on, if you just sort of pull up on it a little bit, just to keep the pressure off, and that split second when it turns on, it's can be a little easier on the switch, the relay switch inside. I try to remember to sort of, like when I go to turn on, I sort of pull it up at me a little bit, because it's I'm assuming it would have less of a spark across that contact point. Which theoretically should make it last longer. Although I can't say I'm complaining, because as I say, I've had these for years and I've never actually even replaced the contact switch, although you can. And I'm cleaning with the Gladiator pads, by the way, and they work. Of all the pads I've used, these definitely are the best for this machine anyway. And steps, because they seem to, and the Velcro, they seem to stick on there pretty well, although I do need to clean this Velcro. It's starting to kind of bunged up. And it's easy to do. I think I've shown that. I just actually get it wet, and then I sort of pull at it with my fingers, and it pulls off pretty good. And I use a little tiny screwdriver sometimes to pick at it a little bit. It doesn't take very long. I can clean it off within half an hour, maybe less. These steps are actually really good shape. They aren't. This is retired people in this building, so they, elderly. Most of them are quite elderly, and they're not into steps. And I've been cleaning this carpet for years. They made a mistake. Oh, never fails.
You're doing it wrong.
How's that?
Well, it's not a vacuum.
Oh. Jeez. Obviously a genius. I was just about to say that a couple of years back, the new council came on board, and they decided they wanted to get it steam cleaned with a vacuum. Anyway, the carpet turned out lousy and resold very rapidly. All the stains came back immediately, and then the next time they called me and said, "We're sorry, we shouldn't have done that, and please come back and fix our carpet." So I did. Okay. Make sure I got enough wire here. All right, I'll give this a spray. Okay. So you can see this goes pretty quickly too, actually. And they're pretty, yeah, they clean this carpet once a year, so they're pretty consistent at that, so that's a good thing. It's an older building. It was actually built in '78, which is a little bit weird because that's the year I graduated from high school. And everybody talks about how this is an old building. It's like, okay, what does that make me? So one thing I should mention is, as you can see, you're seeing exactly what I see. A lot of guys, they do videos, but they got the camera set up across the room or something like that on a tripod. You can't really see, obviously, what they're looking at on the carpet, and you kind of have to take their word for it that the carpet is actually cleaning well, but you're not able to really see exactly what they see. So when I first started doing this over 12, 13 years ago, whenever it was, posting my videos, I made my camera holder using it's actually a modified harmonica holder, and that's still what I use. And it gives me the ability to put the camera literally in front of my face. I'm looking over the top of the camera to see the floor. My goal was to make sure that for people who are watching these videos, you get to see exactly what I see, because I'm wanting to show you what's actually happening on the carpet. And the only way I can do that is give you a point of view perspective. And it obviously it works. So you can see what I see. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty dirty. Okay, I'll let you go. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.